Hello, everybody, and welcome to the entertainment headquarters, and welcome to another film review. And this one is for probably one of the most anticipated horror mysteries of 2025. Is it, of course, the one and only Weapons? Now, when this film first dropped, the trailers and information around it, it was literally surrounded in mystery because no one had a clue what the hell this was about or what the hell, were in store for. Because literally, when you watch the trailer, you're given little clips and little glimpses of stuff going on, but nothing really is revealed. Nothing really is shown, and that was the magic of those particular trailers because it was there to sucker you in to go to theaters to see it all unfold on the big screen. And that's exactly what I did today. I got out there and I seen it on opening weekend, and so it's time to talk about it. So Weapons is a 2025 American mystery horror film written, co-produced, and directed by Zach Credder. The film stars Josh Brolin, Julia Garner, Aldrin Engerich, and Austin Abrahams, Carrie Christopher, Benedict Wong, and Amy Madigan. Now, the plot was quite mysterious. So, the plot synopsis is its plot follows the seemingly inexplicable case of 17 children from the same classroom who mysteriously run away on the same night, having been apparently abducted by an unforeseen force. So that was the mystery. That was kind of highlighted in the trailer. These children kind of disappearing, but what the hell was behind it all? And this is going to be a film, when I talk about it, it's going to be hard to talk about without dropping spoilers. And I'm going to do my very, very best without spoiling it for those that want to go see it. Because, like I say, it's opening weekend. Apparently, it's doing very well. And I think it has a right to do well. I do have positives and negatives, but I do think it's a film worth watching in theatres. So let's get into it. So the film starts off with a voiceover from our young lead actor, who is, I thought he did a fantastic job. Carrie Christopher, who plays Alex, who is our young star. He does the voiceover at the very beginning of this movie, where he's explaining the events that have transpired over the past 24 hours. Of he is one of 18 children in a class, and 17 of his classmates suddenly woke up at 2:17 a.m. in the morning, got out of bed, wandered downstairs, walked out their front door, and just ran off into the middle of the night, all in the same direction, seemingly following some sort of force or some sort of, you don't see anything, but you can clearly see they're in some sort of trance, and there's something kind of calling them, or there's something that is, luring them to this mysterious place that you don't know where they've gone. And of course, within those 24 hours, the parents are frantic, the police get involved, the teachers and the school and the city council are all panicking of this mass kind of exodus of children from this school. And, there's a town meeting that gets taken place, and during this town meeting, you have all of the panicking parents, you have the police who are investigating the case of the missing kids, you have the school board involved, and everything seems to be falling on the shoulders of this particular character. Julie Garner plays a teacher called Justine, and basically she is a character that has a bit of a shadowy past. She has issues with alcohol, and the whole world seems to be on her shoulders when the townspeople and the parents of these missing children seem to be putting the full blame of whatever's gone on her shoulders. You then have the character of Josh Brolin, who this character was originally going to be played by Pedro Pascal, and I'm so glad it wasn't, because I think Josh Brolin was perfect in the role. He just plays a father who is frantically looking for his son who's gone missing. His past is surrounded in tragedy as well, and he's clinging on to his son, and he just wants to find his son. And basically, when the police investigations doesn't seem to be going anywhere, he takes matters into his own hands to try and solve the mystery of what the hell's gone on with his son and where the hell where he's disappeared to. Once you're introduced to those three particular characters, this is where things get complicated and kind of mucky, because for each interval of the movie, for each, different segment of the movie, it's in different chapters, and each chapter of the movie is named after a character's name. So the first chapter is Justine, then the final chapter was Alex, who is the young boy who you see at the beginning doing the monologue and the mystery around him. And then you're introduced to different characters throughout the course of the film, and you get present day events that are transpiring, but then you also get a load of different flashbacks of things that it's little breadcrumbs throughout the plot of the movie that lead you to the big final and the big reveal at the end of the movie, where everything kind of comes together, and all the links and all the kind of mystery of what's going on comes together. So for me, this film isn't as much a horror movie, it's more of a mystery thriller. There are glimpses of horror throughout the course of the movie. There are one or two jump scares, and then there are elements right at the end of this movie that turns it from this mystery thriller into a full-blown kind of horror movie. But you've got to get from A, B to C to the final crack of the movie. And for me, the pacing in this movie, it works very well, but there are elements that are slow, and there are elements throughout the course of the movie that I felt kind of dragged the movie along. Just as I was starting to get kind of bored, they would jump something at you on the screen that would pull you back in and suck you in to want to continue the plot. And, there are many different characters. Like I say, you've got Josh Brolin's character, you've got Julie Gardner's character, you've got Alex, you've got Carrie's character, Alex, but then there are a number of other characters. So you've got this kind of policeman that's having, personal issues, who's connected to the character of Justine. You have this drug addict type character who kind of gets dwindled into the plot. He's mixed in with the policeman in some way, shape, or form. And then, of course, you have this mysterious character, Auntie Gladys, who, as you can tell, looks weird as fuck. She looks crazy. She's weird. She's loopy. She's off the planet, daft crazy. And you just know there's something quite not right with this particular character as soon as she jumps out on screen. And as the plot progresses, it gets darker and darker and creepier till everything's revealed at the end. And like I say, there was one point, like I was about to switch off. I was thinking, I'm going with it. And just as I'm thinking, what is anything, going to jump at us? Is there any kind of elements that are going to suck us in? Boom, this happened. And when this part of the movie happened with Benedict Wong's character, I was thoroughly, suckered into this movie, because I was starting to lose patience with it. I'll be honest with you. I was just waiting for something to happen, and this suckered me in. And this isn't really a spoiler, because there are clips online that were shown it in the trailer. This character who kind of goes chasing after the character of Justine around a gas station. That's featured in the trailer. So this film for me has a lot of, similar problems with the film Longlegs with Nicolas Cage. So Longlegs for me was also surrounded in mystery and was kind of hyped at being one of the best horror films of last year, and was meant to be a film that was going to be on the levels of, say, Silence of the Lambs. That's kind of the hype and kind of the image that film was presented to her by. This film is very much in the same kind of vein as that, where the trailers are there to sucker you in. The trailers were there to kind of pull you in and go, guess what? This is a film you must see in theatres. This is the horror film of the year. For me, it was okay. It wasn't really a horror film. It was more like a mystery movie, a mystery thriller with element of horror scattered throughout. And the performances are great. Julie Garner, Josh Brolin nailed it. The young character, of Alex, played by Carrie Christopher, he for me was fantastic in this, especially like the end at the movie where he kind of, he's featured heavily in the end when everything's revealed, and he's basically one step ahead of somebody that's behind this mystery. And those scenes for me were really great to see him kind of plow along and basically get the upper hand on this person who has basically been torturing him behind the scenes and doing a lot of creepy shit. And for me, that was the payoff in the end for him to, for all of the mystery to be revealed, and for him to basically, escape and do things and other things around the plot. The film title Weapons really intrigues me and really interested me, because when I watched the movie, when I was going through the movies, I was trying to think, why the hell is this called Weapons? It's got elements of horror, it's more thriller and a mystery kind of, a mystery movie where you've got to try and solve the mystery. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, gotcha, I understand why the film is called Weapons. There are elements in this plot where basically the only way I can, describe it is as this. Say you had a person you didn't like, and you had a friend who was a friend of this person you didn't like. You would say things to this friend, or you would do things to this friend that would suddenly turn that person against the person you didn't like. And you would use your influence and use, things at your disposal, knowledge, little things, little hints of, things that turn that person on the other person. And you would make that person do your will by, torturing that other person by simply things that have come out of your mouth. But, that person then would literally become your weapon to cause harm or to cause pain or to just be a complete twat, a complete arsehole to this other person. But you physically haven't done anything. You're not the one doing the damage because of things you've said that you've persuaded somebody else through other means. They've become your instrument to cause this other person pain and harm. They've become your personal weapon against the person you hate and dislike. And basically, that were the elements of this plot. Those were what this whole plot was hinting at. And this whole mystery was around somebody using elements of their at their disposal to cause pain and hurt to other people around them. And I thought that was quite genius writing and quite genius creatively that they did that. And so they were elements of this plot that I really did enjoy. And I kind of sunk in at the end when everything gets revealed why this was happening. So those elements of the plot are really, really great and creative. But like I say, is this the horror film of the year? For me personally, no. Is it a good movie? Yes. It's got a great mystery behind it. You follow the characters. The pacing's a little bit slow for me, but there are elements that keep dropping just as I was kind of pulling away that sucker is back in, a bit like Longlegs did. The finale of this movie, I would say for me personally, it had its moments, and there's a really good moment at the end where the person that is causing this pain to all of these other people gets their comeuppance, and it's how it happens that is glorious, but it's also hilarious. I was sitting in the theatre and there were people chuckling at what was going on, and it was meant to be a serious moment. It was meant to be a moment where people were meant to be gasping like, oh my God, can't believe this is happening. But they were chuckling. So whether that was the point or whether that was meant to happen, I think the finale will have mixed reactions from the crowds and from the fans and from people who go to see this movie. You know, the director of this movie, who did Barbarian, the director was Zach Cregger. Yeah, Zach Cregger. I loved Barbarian. I thought for me that was the surprise horror movie of the year when that came out. It really was an interesting movie. I loved the plot. I loved the character of Mother. I loved the twists and turns in that. So going into this, I was expecting a movie very much like Barbarian, and he did do a decent job with this, but I don't think he pulled it off fully the way he did with Barbarian. I think Barbarian, for me, is a better movie than this, but this is still a good movie. But for me, it's more a mystery thriller than a horror movie. All the horror elements for this come into the movie near the end. The last, I would say, 10 to 15 minutes is where you get your horror. And is it the payoff that you would want? For a lot of people, I'm going to say yes, but for a big portion of people, I'm going to say no. For me, I'm kind of in the middle. There's part of the finale I enjoyed, and there's part that I didn't. But the success and the positives of this movie is I love the character of Carrie Christopher, the young actor who played Alex. I love the ending with his character and the things he does. Josh Brolin, loved his character of this Dalton dad who just wants to find his missing son. And I did like partly the character that Julian Garner played, where you did feel a bit of sympathy for her because she'd been through so much in the past, and now her past is kind of coming back, and she's trying to move on with her life after a turbulent time, and then this event happens, and the whole parents of all the kids in that class are turning on her and they're being nasty towards her, and it's a lot for her to take, and she's already had issues with alcohol in the past. The other characters, I just think, are there to, they're like plot devices. They were planted there to be plot devices to like carry the plot along and to like twist the mystery and to twist, they do the plot twist. They were there to like carry that along. But the main focus for me was Julian Garner, Josh Brolin, and Carrie Christopher. In the character of Gladys, like I say, when she first hits the screen, as you can see by her appearance, she's quite wacky looking. She's quite crazy, and she's got weirdo vibes, and for all the right reasons. And like I said, just when I was about to pull away and think, oh, is anything gonna happen that's really gonna pull us in further? like I say, this particular scene happened, and it's worth the watch. It's worth the wait, for me personally. So, with all that said, with me positives and me negatives, Weapons is worth seeing in theatres, but I don't think it's the film that we were promised, or it didn't live up to the hype. But it's still an enjoyable finish with a crazy fucked up final. So, with that said, I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. I think a 7 out of 10 is worth this film to see in theatres, and I think that's a worthy rating. 7 out of 10. It's a great mystery thriller with elements of horror, with pacing issues, with a funky, fucked up final. That's all I can say without spoiling this movie. But that's just my quick thought on Weapons. Let me know in the comments below if you like Weapons, and let me know, is it going to make your top 10 list of the end of 2025? I don't think it's going to make mine, but it is a film I would watch again. But like I also see, I think Barbarian was a stronger film by the director of this one. So let me know in the comments below what you thought. And keep on enjoying your movies, keep on enjoying all things entertainment, and I'll catch you all at the next one.